Hey you guys, so it is in the month of May, and that means it's time for another TBR. So, if you watched my last video, you know last month I didn't have as much luck, but that was also, in addition to everything I mentioned, it's also the end of the semester and I had a paper due and all that stuff, so there was enough things that I was just reading took the back burner, which is fine. In the month of May, we will be entering the summer semester in school, so I will be reading a little bit more this summer because I'm actually taking a Shakespeare class, so I'll be reading some of those books possibly at the end of May, depending on when assignments are due and things like that. But overall, the month of May, I have nothing. Except May is the time for round 11 of the Alphabethon. We are reading through the letter K, which means any book that begins with the letter K or the author's first or last name can count. And then there are also challenges linked to that up on the Alphabethon Twitter that you can go and look at. I am not going through my Alphabethon TBR today. I have my whole separate TBR for that, and that video will be up later, closer to the start of the readathon, which is May 11th through May 18th? No. Yes? I think so. I can't remember. I'm really bad at this. The for sure dates will be in the other video. But anyway, so this is the video. I'm just going to be talking about the books that I'm planning on to read in May, not during that week. So these are completely separate books. I have 5 books here, 2 of which I already did talk about in my wrap-up. So I'm just going to briefly mention them here again, because I will be finishing them this month, and then I have 3 other additional books that I am adding to my TBR this month. So anyway, let's get into those real quick. So the first book that I would like to finish this month is House of Hades by Rick Riordan. This is the 4th book in the Heroes of Olympus series, and is part of my Rick Riordan reread that was supposed to be read in April, and I just kind of lost track of time. I explained my order of events, but yeah, I was reading other books for a weekend readathon, and then loved a book that I'm about to mention, kept reading that, realized it was the end of the month, and I was like, oh crap, I still have to read House of Hades. So I started it, have not finished it yet, but that will be one of the first things that I finish this month. In addition to Royal Bastards by Andrew Sparks, this is the first book in the Bastards trilogy, I think is what it's called, or the Royal Bastards trilogy, I don't know. All 3 books are out now, so once I finish this book, I'll be waiting a little bit till I get more of the books off my TBR read, and then those bad boys are going in my cart and coming home. So I talked about the synopsis. It's really, really good so far. I'll talk about it more in my wrap-up at the end of the month, my thoughts on it and things like that, but I'm really, really enjoying this so far, and I'm about halfway through, so this is the other one that I'm going to finish right at the top of the month and then get into the rest of them. The next book that I'm hoping to get to this month, which I don't think will be a problem, is the Son of Neptune graphic novel by Rick Riordan, adapted by Robert Venditti. This is the last of the Heroes of Olympus graphic novels that are out so far. I have not read this one yet. I just recently got this one with my other batch of graphic novels at the end of 2019, I think it was. So I've not read this one yet, so I'm excited to get to this and see kind of how it's different, just flipping through it. I can already tell it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful adaptation, as they all have been. We'll see how the content adapts up here. But yeah, so this will be one of the other ones I'm getting to, which means in terms of my graphic novels, the month of June will be a little different in terms of what I'll be reading, but I'll go over that in my June TBR probably. because I'll also be moving on to the next leg of my Rick Riordan reread in the month of June. And I have to explain kind of how I'm getting there, because going from Percy Jackson into Heroes of Olympus made sense, but the rest of his series are all in the same world, but are not all directly linked and tied together. So I'll go over my plan of attack for the rest of the year in my June TBR video, which includes, I'm kind of trying, if you guys haven't noticed, trying to read like a graphic novel every month so that I have something different and light, or maybe not light, but just different every month. A quicker read when I am at a point in the month where I'm like, oh, I just need something quick to pick up and read, and that comes in the form of a graphic novel. So I will be reading this month. The next two are rereads. 90% of the books on this main TBR are rereads just because of where I'm at and things. So the next book that I plan on picking up is Blood of Olympus by Rick Riordan, the 5th and final book in the Heroes of Olympus series. Now, you all may remember, if you've been watching me from the beginning of my booktube days, that I did a review video on this book with Kat way back in the day. I wish I had an accurate count, because I look at it every once in a while because it's just fun. The video that I have reviewing this book with Kat, that's like half an hour long, has over 1,000 views, which is so weird to me. And randomly I will just text a screenshot of it to her and be like, hey, what is happening? What is happening? But that's been a natural progression over the last, when did this book come out? Is that my sophomore year? Freshman year? Came out in 2014. So my freshman year of high school is when this book came out. Which about makes sense. I think I started freshman year that summer. This was one of my first videos that I uploaded, and it has that many views. So anyway, it's weird, but it's great and I love it. So this will be my first time rereading it since that video. So it'll be interesting. We'll see how that goes. I'm super excited to get back into this and reread this, because this is my first time rereading House of Hades and Blood of Olympus, because I never got that far in my rereads when the new books would come out. So yeah, getting excited into that, and then I'll be done with the Percy Jackson main arc, which will be cool. And then the last book that I plan on rereading this month is Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins, the second book in the Hunger Games trilogy, in preparation for the prequel that I have no idea what it's called. I'm super excited to reread this. I always hated how the movie ended, because there's such a good button on the end of this book, and it ends on the perfect note and cliffhanger, and they could have done the ending just so much quicker, and it would have had a little bit more, I don't know, impact, technically. But anyway, that is on my reread. So those are the 5 books that I plan on getting to this month. Within the next week or so, a little bit closer to the start of the readathon, I will be uploading my TBR for that. And yeah, so it's going to be an interesting month. I'm very over ambitious in what I'm going to be able to read, because a week out of this month will be taken up by the readathon. And overall I'm going to have about 11 or 12 books on that TBR, just so that I have options if I want to pick up, and what I want to pick up, and when I want to pick it up, I guess, technically. So anyway, that is it for this video today, guys, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Goodbye!